You know, from an emotional standpoint and a composer standpoint and a what you call historical standpoint, this probably ranks as one of the most important pop romantic songs the Beatles ever did. It's called "With a Little Help from My Friends." Came from the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album in 1967, written by McCartney and Lennon. It was credited to the Lennon-McCartney partnership, and a song by their drummer Ringo Starr as Sgt. Pepper's singer Billy Shears. His lead vocal was the key song on the album. As the second track on the LP, it segues from the applause on the title track. A subsequent recording of the track by Joe Cocker from the album of the same name became a success in '68, topping the UK singles chart and an anthem for the Woodstock era. In '78, the Beatles recording paired with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was reissued as a single and peaked at number 63 in Britain and number 71 in the States. Starr has regularly performed the song in concert as a solo artist. The song was also ranked at number 311 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Now recorded in March '67 over 2 days, the same month he finished recording the song, written specifically as Ringo's track for the Beatles album. It was pretty much co-written, John and I doing the work song for Ringo, a little craft job. In 1970, Lennon stated Paul had the line about a little help from my friends. He had some kind of structure for it, and we wrote it pretty well 50-50 from the original idea. But in 1980, Lennon said, "This is Paul with a little help from me. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. It's mine." So that was basically a celebration of love in whatever forms, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Could he be anybody? I just want somebody to love. It was briefly called Badfinger Boogie, later the inspiration for the band name Badfinger, supposedly because Lennon composed the melody on a piano using his middle finger after hurting his forefinger. Lennon and McCartney deliberately wrote a tune with limited range, except for the last note, which McCartney wrote closely with Starr to achieve. In the Beatles anthology, Starr explained that he insisted on changing the first line, which originally was, "What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you throw ripe tomatoes at me?" So that fans would not throw tomatoes at him should he perform it live. In the early days after George Harrison made a passing comment that he liked Jelly Babies, the group was showered with them at all their live performances. After his release in the States, Maryland Governor and future Vice President Spiro T. Agnew lobbied to have the song banned because it was believed it was about drug use. In the '67 summer, a duo called The Young Idea made a commercial cover of the song. Now, in '68, Joe Cocker recorded a hard rock version of the song, which changed the initial line, "What would you do if I sang out of tune?" to "What would you do if I sang out of tune?" The do version has since been the standard, even when Ringo performs it live. Now, he began recording the song on 29th March '67, the day before he posed for the Sgt. Pepper's album cover. He recorded 10 takes of the song, wrapping up sessions at 5:45 in the morning. The backing track consisted of Starr on drums, McCartney playing piano, Joe Harrison playing lead guitar, and Lennon beating a cowbell. At dawn, Starr trudged up the stairs to head home, but the other Beatles cajoled him into doing his lead vocal then and there, standing around the microphone for moral support. The following day, they added tambourine, backing vocals, bass, and more electric guitar. American Teen Set editor Judith Sims interviewed each Beatle separately on the 29th as they became available. Others in the studio at various times, including roadies Mal Evans and Neil Aspinall, publicists Tony Barry and Terry Doran, photographers Leslie Bryce and Frank Herman, and Cynthia Lennon. Now, the George played the Hammond organ. Now, Harrison and Starr performed this song together for the first time at the Princess Trust in London in '86 with Eric Clapton, and McCartney and Starr performed the song together for the first time since '67 at the David Litch Foundation benefit concert at Radio City Music Hall on the 4th of April 2009. McCartney and Starr also performed the song together on The Night That Changed America, a Grammy salute to the Beatles, a commemorative show on the 27th of January 2014 that marked 50 years since the band's first appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. In New Zealand, it went gold at 15,000 copies. In the United Kingdom, it went silver at 200,000. Again, never released by a single. There have been at least 50 cover versions of the song, as it achieved the number one position on the UK singles chart 3 times. By Joe Cocker in '68, by Wet 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 in '68, and by Simon Mark in 2004. Now, Jimmy Page played on the Cocker version. Now, this song went 36 in Canada, number 1 in the UK, 68 in Billboard, 8 in Belgium, and number 1 in, 8 in Belgium in the Ultra Top 50 on Flanders. The Wet Wet version went number 1 in the UK, and the Simon & Mark version went 22 in Ireland, number 1 in the UK. Now, 2 versions of the song made the UK single charts in 67. The Young Ideas version for their album, the same name, peaked at number 10 and spent 6 weeks in the top 75, while the version of Joe Bone charted at the same time with number 62. The Canadian band Kick-Axe reached number 79 in Canada with a version for their Welcome to the Club on the 18th of January 86. Now in 2018, the track was released as a charity benefit by the NHS Voices, with all benefits going to UK National Health Service. So why this song was so popular, ladies and gentlemen, not only because it's Ringo, it just basically was a fresh song that talked about like a lot of the importance of relying on your friends to put it together. So let's go over the lyrics. Again, Billy Shears, of course, singing. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out of me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help with my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm going to try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm going to try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that happens all the time. What do you do when you turn out the light? Who do you see when you turn a light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Do you need anybody? I just need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I just want somebody to love. So basically it talks about friendships of a partner, friendships of pure friendship. I think the reason why the song is held up all these years, and like in the last 58 years, it has something for everybody. You be gay, straight, purple, whatever. But Ringo sang it in such a way that it was important to recognize that Ringo was there singing the song of the common people. Ringo was always the most beloved in the band because he sang in a way that everybody could relate to. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard the song for the first time, try to listen to the different versions, especially Joe Cocker versions. And that was a theme song for the Wonder Years for a little while. But with a little help from my friends, again, one of the most important singles the Beatles put out in their last phase of creativity. 67 was probably her second best year behind 66. 66 was important as well. So ladies and gentlemen, just remember, you can't get by in this life without a little help from your friends and having somebody in your life to secure you and make you emotionally stable. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here with our Beatles podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.